Throughout the history of mankind, the divine messages are often shrouded in mystery. Prophets, messiahs, or whichever names you call them, are often persecuted and oppressed, their words obscured. But how do we distinguish the true from the false? To do so, one can only rely on the divine's guidance, and the truth will reveal itself to those who earnestly seek it. In our previous episode, we learned about Mother Shipton's life, in which she was shunned by society as a young lady, then went on to become a widely respected and sought-after herbalist and seeress. Mother Shipton's Prophecies focused on local and global events, as well as events in her near future, spanning right up to and beyond our present time. In this episode, we will continue to explore her insightful prophecies.
In England now will come to pass a house that shall be built of glass.
This seems to prophesize the Crystal Palace that was built in London in 1851. The elaborate structure was built for the Great Exhibition planned by Prince Albert, husband of Queen Victoria, who invited international intellects and talents to showcase their latest inventions. This successful event attracted more than 14,000 exhibitors from around the world and more than 6 million visitors. And with clear glass walls and slim iron rods, the building itself was a sensation. The Crystal Palace became an architectural standard for subsequent international exhibits and continued to host shows, concerts, and other events until it was destroyed by a fire in 1936.
In the water shall iron float, the same as now a wooden boat. More wonders still shall water do, and England yet admit a Jew.
In the 1800s, ships that were once made of wood began to be made with iron. Compared to wooden ships, these newer boats were considered to be far safer and more durable and enabled travel over longer distances as well as faster journeys with larger loading capacities. Mother Shipton also mentions other wonders of water. This may refer to hydroelectric energy that was invented in the late 19th century. Hydropower harnesses the energy from flowing water, such as cascading waterfall flow, to generate electricity. Today, hydropower provides about 16% of our world's electricity and is the most commonly used renewable source of electricity. During Mother Shipton's time, the Jewish population in England were persecuted and expelled from the country. But as prophesied in 1656, they were readmitted.
Great accidents the world will fill, and carriages without horses go, whilst in the twinkling of an eye, around the world our thoughts shall fly.
The first locomotive was invented in 1804. This invention would go on to allow the transport of people and commodities via railway. The first automobile was invented in 1769, and as automobile technology developed, horse-drawn carriages were superseded, with most people now reliant on cars as a source of transportation. However, road vehicles have become a major public health concern, with a plethora of accidents on roads between vehicles, as well as accidents involving pedestrians. The World Health Organization has stated that in 2016 alone, there were 1.35 million fatalities due to road traffic injury. This equated to one person every 26 seconds on average. Mother Shipton also mentions, "Our thoughts shall fly incredibly quickly." This reminds us of the internet, which was enabled step by step through the invention of the phone network, and eventually through computing systems in the 1950s. The creation of the World Wide Web in 1989 is said to have revolutionized the way that we communicate. In the 1990s, only approximately 0.5% of the world's population were online. Nowadays, many of us use the internet, which makes our thoughts fly around the world. It is tightly integrated with people's daily lives, and as such, it's almost impossible to imagine a world without the internet.
Through towering hills proud men shall ride, no horse or ass move by his side. Beneath the water men shall walk, shall ride, shall sleep, shall even talk.
It seems she also foresaw the cities with skyscrapers and cars running among them, as well as underwater housing that attracts tourists with fascinating views and the experience of living among the wonderful citizens of the sea. We have also had submarines that people have ridden in for some time. The first supercar submarine has also been developed, and many holiday goers have enjoyed submarine tours that allow them to take a leisurely and beautiful trip beneath the ocean's surface.
For in those wondrous far-off days, the women shall adopt a craze to dress like men and trousers wear, and to cut off their locks of hair. They'll ride astride with brazen brow, as witches do on broomsticks now.
She also seemed to be surprised by the changes in women she saw in her vision, taking the freedom of wearing pants and suits, maintaining shorter hair, and some riding bicycles and motorcycles.
And roaring monsters with men atop does seem to eat the verdant crop. And men shall fly as birds do now, and give away the horse and plough.
This line reminds us of tractors and crop harvesting machines with farmers driving them, the use of airplanes in mega farms to plant seeds, and spray fertilizers to crops over large areas quickly and efficiently.
Then love shall die and marriage cease, and nations wane as babes decrease.
Mother Shipton prophesied that a time would come where love between spouses would fade. According to Our World in Data, the global number of divorces since the 1970s has increased. We are also seeing marriage rates and birth rates decrease steadily. It has been predicted that by 2100, 23 nations will have their population halved as a result of less babies being born.
Man will ruin kinder lives by taking them as to their wives, and murder foul and brutal deed when man will only think of greed.
This prophecy may be indicating that humans are destroying the lives of kinder beings en masse as we slaughter billions of animal people each year for food. Not only are they slaughtered, they are artificially inseminated without their consent. These animal people are exploited and helpless, and they have no means to protect themselves. Mother Shipton accurately depicts that these kind animal people are murdered immorally and brutally for selfish gain due to greed, indulging their taste buds, and for financial power via monetary profit and hoarding. In facilities that imprison cow, pig, chicken people, etc., there is forcible impregnation in order to produce babies. When baby calves are born, they are snatched away from their mothers, while their mothers are imprisoned in barren conditions, and their milk is taken for human consumption. Their lives are ruined, as they are not permitted to live in any natural or dignified conditions. Male calves are slaughtered for veal, while they are just babies, or even killed and thrown into a dumpster if they are deemed unprofitable. In countries like the United Kingdom, 60,000 male calves are shot right after birth each year. The mother cows are milked constantly while suffering the emotional pain of being separated from their babies, and usually suffering physical pain too. especially from mastitis. The horrendous conditions that these cow mothers are kept in shorten their lifespans, and they face a grim ending when killed at a slaughterhouse for their flesh. In many cases, the cow mother's bones are brittle due to being over-milked, and they can't walk easily or comfortably, yet they are still forced to stand in crowded transportation trucks that drive them to the slaughterhouse, with cow people collapsing or falling during long journeys. At the slaughterhouse, they can hear the cries of pain and anguish of their friends and loved ones being slain. They experience stress and terror. They are sometimes forced to walk through sanitation bars to clean themselves. Some fell and fainted or were trampled upon therein before being slaughtered. They must wait in holding pens for a seemingly endlessly prolonging period of time, all within earshot of their cow friends being killed. Their murder is certainly foul and brutal. Our most benevolent Supreme Master Ching Hai, vegan, has shared her insights that modern human society is walking towards the wrong way of life and urged humanity to make a turn.
The animal people are very pure. They are already connected with the higher source of the divine. So we can learn so much from them. You see, for example, the whale people in Vietnam, the big whales that rescue the fishermen in Vietnam, they do know that these are fishermen. They do know that they kill fish people for a living, but they still rescue them at sea when the fishermen are in danger. You see, absolutely unconditional, not judgmental. For all the generosity of spirit and blessings that they bring into our lives, how do we have the heart to kill them and eat them, to enjoy their suffering? For anyone who is not yet vegan or who has not understood why, please inform yourself of the unimaginable, utterly cruel and utmost inhumane treatment involved in meat and dairy production or fishing even, as well as lab experiments or the animal fur industry. Animal people are utterly cruelly mistreated day in and day out to feed the very industry that supplies all the meat consumed by humans. In our society, we only kill someone when he has done something wrong. And nowadays, many countries have already abolished the death penalty. And even death sentenced prisoner, they have their own cell and they have clean food, clean water. They're not treated the way we treat our animal friends. This is really not human at all. Please stop all this. Please tell everybody else to stop all this. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Vegan, because we cannot make war with other beings and expect peace.
Loving viewers, thank you for joining us today.